Hello everybody, welcome to the weekend, welcome to a little video having a look at Overseer, right, and his synergy. So he's got a synergy where it looks like, first of all, with Captain America Infinity War, it amplifies on intercept his attack rating or gives him a little bit of a fury buff for a certain amount of seconds. But there's also a secondary synergy that I thought would be quite apt to put in this video because they're rivals, Red Skull and Captain America. So I thought, let's do a quick little experimentation to check these synergies out. So the synergy in question we're going to be testing is Shield Buddies. Shout out to Aunt May. I think that MarvelSynergy.com stopped kind of like uploading stuff now, so I'm going to be representing and promoting Aunt May a lot more. So, Shield Buddies is the first synergy. The second synergy will be something that incorporates the likes of Heimdall with that synergy and kind of like interceding or kind of dashing back and kind of like getting the Fury buff using him. And I think that's pretty much it. There's going to be some other champions intermingled in that, and could have used a Odin in order to amplify with aptitude, but I thought let's just roll some footage and just kind of like showcase, because the biggest thing about this, the biggest point, is that intercepting the opponent grants a non-stacking passive fury, granting 50% attack rating for 7 seconds. I don't know if it's a passive fury, especially from what appears on screen, but it could interwork into how the the intercede works and how that kind of like may have done something that I'm not 100% sure. But anyway, let's roll the footage. And the issue with this kind of like creation is consistency. If you're really good at doing intercepts, then this can be great. If you make a few mistakes, which I did make in trying to like create this as a smooth run, it became difficult. It becomes more difficult if you have to, within 7 seconds, try and make sure you've got your full kinetic potential and do a parry or well-timed heavy attack to then loop into an SP2 to maximize the damage. It isn't exactly brilliant, which you're going to see in a moment, because time is of the essence. Okay, let's roll the footage for Captain America and this synergy. So first of all, it's all about trying to get the intercept in first, which, there we go, that was a good intercept, but as well timing. You can probably see top left hand corner, the time is very tight. Like if I did not throw that, I would not have been able to do any damage, and it was pretty weak, but it was not even fully kinetically charged. Trying to do the intercept is something that's going to be quite important, and there, like trying to like balance in when you swipe in is important, because I got intercepted by a special attack by the AI. But there was a good intercept right there. But again, the pace of this is something to mention. How you indeed like look to play this, I don't know if it's going to be something that players are too interested in. But at the same time, if you're looking for an option just to like do because you're going to be intercepting for whatever reason, whether or not you're doing some content, then hey, you're going to get a passive fury for 7 seconds. It seems like a very small window once you're trying to do rotations of maximizing damage output, if indeed you're doing things like parry heavy or throwing an SP2 at the same time. There have been some instances I did an 80,000 crit, but it just, again, with all those 3 things on at the same time, it still didn't think that it felt like it was actually doing anything. But in any case, let's move on and talk about the other champion we're testing out. Now let's talk about the Red Skull side of things and the Red Skull synergy. The main thing to really kind of point out about this is indeed going to be Immortal Rulers, which is the Immortal Abomination, which allows for every armor up buff to be granted an attack rating improvement, grants an attack rating additional. Every 10th basic hit triggers a personal armor up buff. So that's good, that's kind of improves damage, but we're going to see the footage whether or not it's going to make a big difference. The Overseer one has Red Skull in it, is that 8% chance per armor up to inflict an armor break on SP2, which is the reason that we're going to rotate around the SP2 for damage. And I've just thrown in a little bit of Odin just because of pre-fights and aptitude and that buff. So let's roll the footage. A little bit of Winter Soldier action. Now I was watching a live stream at the time, so you're going to see like a loss of combo. But unfortunately, the same thing really presents itself with Red Skull, and that is the underwhelming damage side of things. The champion does have some interesting utility. As I said, like it can be treated as an underrated champion if you base on the power control narrative. You also base the heal block, and also base the extent of, well, interactional stuff and damage with shock. So that's really it. But still, there's a lot lacking. I'm not going to preach and go like, this champion is the best champion in the world because of synergies. It's not really the case. A lot of these synergies add extra padding where they can, but effectively it's not really adding much up, and it's only by a complete fluke if for whatever reason you have to bring yourself in a villain champion that does the shock debuff damage or does an armor break, that it could be something of a need, want, and desire for you to actually rotate this within your team. Either way, you're going to be seeing something very disappointed. I think the Immortal Abomination synergy is good, but a lot could be made with it, even upgrading the extent of attack rating bonus, because the build is great. Every 10th hit, building the armor up buff does mean that you're building it far more frequently, which you're seeing right on screen now. But the problem is, it's just not maximizing anything with great damage output. There's some good little crits here and there, and this is a 565, but it's not in the same realms, not even the same ballpark as many other champions are from the rate of damage, the volume of hits that they do, and whether that's from a combo building champion or a debuff building champion. And I've had to kind of even go to the latter points here of the fight because it just went on and on. It actually took about 200 plus hits in order to do, which isn't too ridiculous for a 565 because there's a lot of champions that do that. But nowadays, a 5-star, a 565 that is non-suicide mastery, you would be expecting that champion to take a 565 to take down the enemy, or Realm of Legends champion here in about 140 to 150 hits at the absolute furthest mark, so the latest point you can get, the max point. You do not want anything going over that. So anything that's between, if a 565 is a sweet spot, is doing it in about 75 hits to 110, you've probably got a really good champion on your hands. So yeah, nothing really to write home about here. Nothing really impressive. It's just another synergy, it seems. And I guess that's really it. My big kind of bone of contention is that, and I thought I'd test this out because it's kind of cool to look at the extent of damage improvement with things like synergies. But this is the problem. Some of these old champions or older champions, sometimes these little synergies are, well, kind of pointless because they don't really kind of mean much. Red Skull is in need of a massive rework as the champion, or even tune-up, because it just doesn't output in the same way that other champions do. So that's something to bear in mind. And I would say that even though this is fun for exhibition and showcase, we are definitely showcasing it in the best possible way. I gave as much synergy boost as possible to these champions, so they were boosted to the extent they could be. A few little play mistakes with Captain America Infinity War, but again the point remains that if you're rotating that champion around the narrative of getting the kinetic charge, getting and timing in your SP2 or parry heavying in order to do all those three things with an intercept that has a 7-second window, man, you are playing with what is a very risky Mission Impossible style game. I'm sure people will be able to do it and do it fine. It's just a case of timing is important. And yeah, so there's both champions. One is a little bit tricky to get that kind of rotation round, especially with that 7 seconds, and the other one, man, definitely needs a rework because it ain't good by any stretch of the imagination. But in any case, I hope you enjoyed this little video, this little showcase. Make sure as always to hit the like button, subscribe with post notifications on all, as we deep dive lots of things with champions, content, grind guides, news and information about Marvel Contest of Champions and Marvel Future Revolution as well. So thanks very much and see you soon. Bye bye.